Welcome back to H3 Live. This is the HR Tech Perspective series brought to you by Experian Employer Services live at the HR Technology Conference. My name's Steve Boese. Today I'm with Mara Nicholl. Mara is the Senior Director of Product Management, and she's here with me to share how Experian Employer Services is helping employers support their people. Mara, welcome.
Thank you. It's excited to be here.
It's great to see you again. So first of all, how are you? And how's your experience so far at HR Tech?
Things have been great. I feel like it's been a really dynamic conference. There's been a lot of really great ideas. We watched Pitch Fest yesterday, a lot of really cool ideas. So it's been very fun.
Yeah, it's your second time at HR Tech, you told me?
It's my second time.
Yeah.
Even more so this time. You can be comfortable to really enjoy it, see the different booths, see the different players, talk to different partners. It's been great. Last year, I think it was my first venture into HR Tech, but this year's been great.
Yeah, great. Well, it's great to see you again. And it's a great time to talk about some of the challenges employers are facing and how Experian Employer Services is helping them meet those challenges, specifically around compliance. I feel like compliance is moving so quickly. You know, we got a chance to meet a few months back, and here we are again, and the compliance landscape just is constantly changing. So how do you guys work with your clients and work with the regulators as well to kind of stay on top of things?
Yeah, it's a dynamic environment. That's a really great word for it right now. I feel like we talked just a few months ago, and it's just even gotten more so of a hot topic, especially for employers. It's a very confusing time because things are changing very rapidly. There's a lot of uncertainty around how things are changing and what to do about it. So from our perspective, we have a team that really looks at what are the changes in the regulatory environment and then share those with our clients, share that with our sales teams. That informs not only our products, but also how we talk to our clients, how we inform and educate and make sure that everyone feels comfortable with how things are changing. Because it's a lot to keep on top of. There are changes at the federal, at the state, sometimes at the local level, right. And there's a lot of uncertainty around a lot of that.
Yeah, and when employers work with you, I mean, that's going to be one of the top things when an employer is even considering coming to work with Experian. It's just, hey, throwing their hands up in the air. I can't keep abreast of all these changes, and it's moving too fast. And
absolutely.
It's got to be a common complaint.
Absolutely. I think there's also not just that it's a common complaint to stay on top of it, but how to implement, how to be safe. There's a lot more changes, like in terms of enforcement with regulatory changes. There's changes like where there are different regulations that are changing and not sure how to comply. And like, how does it change at the federal level versus the state level? And which states do they have to be aware of? Because all of them are a little bit different.
Yeah. You mentioned enforcement, worksite actions and enforcement activities. Look, we all can read the news, right?
Absolutely.
We know things have changed a lot in the last 9 months or so. Let's talk about that a little bit, right? How this renewed focus on immigration enforcement is impacting employers. First of all, what are employers telling you, like right now? What's the buzz that you're getting from the landscape of employers around these enforcement actions?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of concern around audits, making sure that they're prepared for that if there is one. And there have been some activities, right, in like the last couple of months. So really how to make sure that they're on top of it. Do they have all of their paperwork in order? Do they have everything documented to be able to show that in case they're audited? How to be prepared. And then also to make sure if they aren't prepared, like making sure that their processes are up to date, that everything is being followed correctly, that they are up to speed on what is the right procedure, what are the rules, and how have they changed?
Yeah, I-9s in particular, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so funny. I've been doing this a long time, right, in the HR tech space, and thinking to myself, boy, what can be so hard about this one little form? But it's been an ongoing subject that I've been involved in for 15 years, right? It's not that simple. It's complex. And honestly, employers can get really caught up in a bad situation with with audits, with fines. I'd love to talk a little bit about I-9 specifically,
yes,
and how you're working with your employer clients to stay compliant and stay on top of that.
Yeah, and a lot of employers are concerned about errors, making sure that they're complete. Do they have all their I-9 forms? Do their employees know how to do that correctly, to fill them out correctly, making sure of that? Because sometimes, especially if you have a lot of new hires, do you have that? And now with a mobile workforce, how do you have complete I-9s and make sure they're compliant? So we're working with our clients just to make sure that, do they have the right process in place? Do they have, are they prepared for an audit? Do they have the right procedures in place? But also, we have a remote Section 2 process now.
Yeah.
So that all of their remote employees and hybrid workers can do that all remotely through our system. And that's something that is really really beneficial to employers that don't have, that have a really diverse workforce that are in different locations. Maybe they didn't before.
Yeah, and that's great, Laura. I appreciate you saying that because employers these days are either dispersed around the country or have tried to sort of stay in that hybrid stance, right, that they adopted through COVID. Some have stayed remote all the way, right? And some of the newer companies that come up never really meet up centrally. So, but you still have to do all these compliance processes, right? You're not absolved from them because you don't have a central office.
And you're not even, some of these employers, like, it's not just for new ones, right? This isn't necessarily a new form, like you said. Right. It's been around for a long time, but the workforce has changed, the environment has changed, the way you're going to do it has changed a little bit. And it can be overwhelming to look at that and say, oh, I have a lot of attention on this one form. Yeah. But it's important.
And I think the great thing about it, what Experian Employer Services does around I-9s is it's not just, hey, get the form done, here's a way to do it, but you've got insights, you've got resources, you can help people get it done, properly, in compliance, kind of. It's assurance, really, is what I think it is.
Absolutely. And not just in our I-9, but across our solutions for our compliance. We also have legislative updates. We have regular updates in terms of what's happening in the market and what does this mean for you. And that's through directly to the market, also directly to our clients and potential clients. We should make sure everyone feels like they have the right resources in front of them.
Yeah, I-9s, again, I brought it up. It's a big talking point because it's, look, every employee touches every employee, every employer. There's other things that are happening, too, in the compliance landscape that are presenting challenges and also opportunities, right? One I wanted to talk about was the Paperwork Reduction Act. What can you tell us about that and how that impacts employers and what they need to know?
When it passed last year, it was right before tax season, so a lot of things didn't necessarily change. But this year, I think there's guidance that they don't necessarily have to mail their tax forms, their ACA forms, but at the same time, there is that focus on consent. And what does that mean?
Right.
And it's not just at the federal level. There are also states that have their own processes as well and their own requirements.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And we're small business ourselves, right? At H3, I get these notifications and I don't know what to do with them, honestly. And it's hard for small, mid-size, every business, right?
Yes.
And they need that trusted partner in compliance. And we've talked about this a lot with our friends at Experian, but it's so true. One other one I love, and our partner and friend Trish, right, loves to talk about, but she's not here, I'll talk about it for her, is work opportunity tax credit.
Yes.
Huge opportunity for employers, right, to sort of get some benefits from doing kind of the right thing out there in the world of work, right? Giving opportunities to folks who really maybe have been underserved or just need a chance, right?
Yes.
I'd love for you to talk about that and how you guys help your employers, right, take most advantage of that.
Yeah, and we do. We have, so the WOTC credit is it's a really important one, especially for employers and for employees as well, to give them those opportunities. So it's a great benefit. We have a great survey that we help consult in terms of our clients, making sure that they have a survey that they can have it. It's done very compliantly, making sure that those credits are submitted. I know that right now there's a lot of uncertainty around it in terms of
what's going to happen with that program.
Absolutely, right? Because it's set to expire December 31st, but it's gone into hiatus before, so it's not that those credits aren't being submitted. We'll continue to do the work. We've seen it maybe average around 3 months, maybe a little longer. It could be a longer one this time, but we'll keep an eye on that. We're making sure to keep everyone abreast.
Yeah, the thing is, I think folks will know that you'll be ready, right? No matter what happens with WOTC, whether it's extended, whether it's not, whether it changes, whether it's not. Yes. And I'd say that about the other processes as well, right? Yes. When they change, you're ready to support your clients and anyone out there really who needs that information. Yes. And to just look, it's hard to stay compliant, right?
Yes.
And it's important, but it also sometimes gets in the way of doing some other things we want to do as HR professionals.
I mean, we've talked about just 3 or 4 different processes now, just in those, and that's not even all of them. Yeah. And to keep up to speed on the differences, federal, state, and what to do. That's a lot in terms of how do you do your day job, everything else that you go into HR for. Do you want to really be researching this? And it takes a lot of time.
A little bit. There's only a select few folks, right, and bless them, who decided, work opportunity tax credit, that's my thing, right? I'm gonna work on that. Or I'm in compliance, that's my thing. Hey, it's great that we have those folks, but look, we want to make sure we're compliant, we're doing the right thing by our employees, keeping our employers out of trouble, and doing it in a way that's efficient, It makes sense, right? Working with great partners like
Yes.
Mara and the team at Experian Employer Services. It's great to see you, Amara. Any last words? Any last Vegas things you want to do before you leave?
Vegas before I leave.
Yeah.
I think it'll be. I'm not sure I've like left the here so much, but there's so much to do and so many people to see. So I think I'll just enjoy the rest of the event and then make my way home. But it's been fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you, Mara. It's great to see you again. Thanks for joining me today. Your insights really just show us how your clients and employers can navigate complexity, remain compliant with confidence and clarity. This has been so great. Thanks, everybody, for watching this episode of H3 Live, the HR Tech Perspective series with our friends at Experian Employer Services.